It is time now, though, for our weekend cover story. With Valentine's Day fast approaching, we're being warned to stay vigilant against romance scams.
That's because new data has revealed just how much Australians are losing to scammers each and every year. For more on this, we're joined by cybersecurity expert Lambros Photios. Lambros, good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
How much money are we losing to scams like these?
Romance-related scams specifically are costing about $35 million per year as of last year, and digital scams in general cost over $100 million.
So, I mean, we talk about this a lot, but people are still falling for these things because they are so realistic. What is the demographic that's most at risk of being targeted by these romance scams in particular?
it's really unfortunate, Jane. I mean, we're looking at a demographic of predominantly people over the age of 55 and those who are living with disabilities.
Has the evolution of technology made it sort of harder to spot, harder to sort of digest in many respects?
Yeah, I mean, at the start of 2023, we saw the emergence of AI and ChatGPT. What this created was, things like photorealistic images of people. So you can be on a dating app, you can see photos of someone who is really attractive to you, but realistically, that person may not be real, right? And then when a conversation starts, the text in the dialogue, in the messages, could actually be generated by AI. And then if you get on the phone, sometimes the person on the other end could actually not be a person, it could be AI as well. So it's getting a lot smarter.
So for anyone sort of sitting out there thinking, oh, I've just made a new friend on Facebook or something like that, what are the things they should be, like, what are the red flags? What should you be looking out for?
Look, I always think the old-fashioned way, Jane, is the way to do it, but, you've got to kind of build up. So I always say start with a phone call if you can before a date. Starting to build a connection in that way can be a way to kind of break through that first barrier and overcome the kind of risks that are there. After the phone call, move towards something in person. Meet them face to face. Make sure they're using a real name. So cross-check with the social network. Make sure they're a real person. They've got real friends. I know it sounds obvious, but these are the sorts of things we look past, particularly if we're captivated. It's the problem with emotions, right? It gets the best of us.
And therein lies the problem. People who are lonely are probably most vulnerable. Is that what you're finding, or is that fair to say?
I think it is, yeah. I mean, particularly if you're not susceptible to kind of text, someone's told you, hey, get on a dating app, these things are great. More than 50% of people that are getting married today have met on a dating app or some sort of online methodology. And so when you kind of look at that, you see the older generation now moving towards technology because they see that as the way to connect with someone. But then they're not equipped because they haven't grown up with all these technologies that we have.
So, I mean, the way I've heard about these things happening is that they build a rapport with you. They often have a sympathy story that kind of gets you hooked, and then something will happen and they'll ask for money. Is money, what should you do when somebody who you think you genuinely know asks you for money?
It's hard when someone asks for money. I mean, the AI is kind of built to trigger an emotional response really quickly. And so the verbiage, if you're speaking on the phone to an AI, literally the tone of voice is made to trigger you into wanting, to empathising with this person. And so when human emotion kicks in, it can be hard. You need to sometimes remove yourself from the situation, speak to friends, ask, is this normal, right? It's easy to get so caught up with the emotions and the romance of it all that you look past that, but you need to make sure that you get these things cross-checked to make sure this person's legitimate, and perhaps really consider if you're going to give money away to someone who you've just met online.
It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? That's why I don't online date. That's why I don't date at all.
Oh, poor Clint. That's a whole other story.
Lambros, right. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
appreciate
Lambros.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?
Always happens.